Hi wonderful people, welcome back to my amazing channel. I'm so happy to have you guys here. Today we are making a red velvet cake. Valentine's is coming up, so this is pretty special. If you are new here, please click the like and subscribe button. And for those of you who are always here, welcome back and thank you so much for your support. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's go. Alright guys, so first things first, we are going to wash our hands, make sure everything's clean, take off all your jewelry, and we're gonna get started. We're starting off with our dry ingredients first. Here I just have an empty bowl, and we're gonna start off with our flour, just normal cake flour, and I will be using 2 cups of this. This is a half cup measurement, so I'll be adding 4 of these in here. You don't have to sift it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, put that aside. And then we're gonna come in with 1 full cup of white granulated sugar. So 1, 2, and then we are going to come through with half a teaspoon of salt. Salt is very important in baking. I cannot emphasize that enough. It just makes everything taste more like itself. I know that doesn't make sense, but just hear me out. And so then we are going to be using baking powder. So whenever you use baking powder, just as a rule of thumb, right? If you're using 2 cups like I have here, then you'll be using 2 teaspoons. So the ratio is 1 to 1. So then if you're using 1 cup, use 1 teaspoon. Just as a rule of thumb. And I'm doing level teaspoons and not heaped ones. Like that. That's enough. And then we're going to put that aside. We're also going to be using bicarb of soda, but we're not going to add it now. So there we have it, and then now we are going to come in with our cocoa powder. So this red velvet cake is a cross between a vanilla cake and a chocolate cake, somewhere in between. So we don't need too much of this because I mean it needs to be red and not brown, and this will color the whole recipe, so be careful. So you're gonna add 3 teaspoons of regular cocoa and put the cocoa aside. And now that we have our dry ingredients in the bowl, we are just going to whisk it. Using a wire whisk eliminates the need to sift our dry ingredients beforehand. And it just saves you some time and washing up. What do you guys think? I'm making a supersonic mess, but I mean... So at this moment, you are going to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius and let it wait for you and be ready. So now we are going to come in with our wet ingredients, sorry. So we need some oil, regular cooking oil, and we are using half a cup of that. In our half cup measure, we're going to be adding half a cup of regular cooking oil. Can be any oil that you like to use in the house, just not extra virgin because then it's going to affect the flavor of the cake. And then before we proceed, let me just show you guys here. We need about a cup of buttermilk, right? So if you don't have buttermilk, what you do is you pour whole milk into a cup and you put a teaspoon of vinegar, and then it makes a buttermilk consistency. As you can see, it's a bit curdled, but that's fine, that's gonna work. And if you have buttermilk, use that. If you don't have any of the things I spoke about, use amasi. If you don't know what amasi is, it's sour milk. Those of you from South Africa will know exactly what I'm talking about. And while we are mixing that in here, we are going to add some red food coloring when it decides to open, right? So this is the crucial part because you want this cake to be very red. Let me just come here in the middle. I was a bit offside there. So we are going to add about 2 tablespoons of that. Stir it right? Stir it around and look at that gorgeous, gorgeous pink color. We're gonna add some more because we want this cake to really be bright. So in total, I would say 2 tablespoons of the red food coloring and a teaspoon, just to be sure, because you don't want this cake to be brown. And then we're going to put that aside. Let's come back here. We've got our oil in there, as I earlier explained to you guys. Now we're going to add in 1 egg. These are large eggs, by the way. Second egg, right? And then we are going to come in with our vanilla, right? We are using, oh, sorry, you didn't see that. There is our vanilla essence. We are adding 2 teaspoons, I would say, of vanilla essence. I'm just gonna borrow the whisk. And then move over to your mixture of food coloring and buttermilk and just pour everything in there. And then start mixing vigorously. Right? Start mixing vigorously. And now what we're going to do is put the dry into the wet ingredients. Let's just clean our surface. So take your dry ingredients and gently pour everything in. Make sure nothing is left behind. And we are ever so gently going to start mixing this all together. It's going to make a wet batter, but that's fine. It makes for a more moist cake, right?
So you're welcome to use a standing mixer or a hand mixer with this, but a little bit of elbow grease never hurts anyone.
And get underneath, guys. You want to make sure there are no pockets of flour in there or anything like that. So you want to make sure this is like well mixed in. And now that we've done that, I'm going to show you what I meant with the bicarb, right? So you are going to take your bicarbonate of soda, and you are going to put in 1/4 teaspoon, right into the batter, like so. And then you are going to come in with some vinegar, right? And you are going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of vinegar, right? And put it there, and it's going to start fizzing up as you see it there. And you see it fizzle and fizzle, just like that. And once that is done, you're going to vigorously mix everything together. This part is important because if you do not properly mix it, then you're going to have an area that is very bitter in your cake, you know, and nobody wants that. So now that everything is well mixed in, just like that, and this is the consistency that we are looking for, just like that.
Now this batter is quite wet, but that's exactly what we're looking for in order to ensure our cake is moist.
So now you're going to take your 20 centimeter round cake tin and spray it. Don't neglect the sides. Spray it. We want to make sure this cake comes out. And then you are going to quickly put in some flour in there and coat it, especially the sides. Okay, and then get rid of the excess. And there we have it once again. And so now we are going to decant our wet mixture into our cake tin. Oh, I feel like I should make you guys come really close so you can see all that is happening here. So here we go with our wet mixture. Oh, it looks a picture. It looks so gorgeous and it's not even cooked yet. Imagine! I love baking, you guys. It's so therapeutic. And so you are going to put all of that in there. Don't leave anything behind. You guys know what I always say, waste not, want not. And as you can see, this is our mixture. There are tiny bubbles on there, so in order to get rid of them, because you know you want your cake to be as uniform as possible, you are going to bang it on your counter a few times. So and that's that. So we are gonna move this over to our oven and I'll show you how to make the icing while our cake is baking. So we're gonna bring our cake over to our preheated oven and we are going to let that bake. Alrighty guys, we are going to start with our icing. So we are making a chocolate ganache. I am using milk chocolate here. This is 160 grams of regular milk chocolate. You may use dark chocolate if you so wish, or white chocolate, but I don't even believe white chocolate is real chocolate. So, but you know what you like, go ahead. But all the measurements will stay the same. So as you guys saw, there's water in this pot. It's about a quarter of the way up. And we are going to use the steam from here. This method of cooking is called a double boiler or a bain-marie. It mustn't be boiling vigorously, but it must be sort of on a simmer, if that makes sense. So a medium to low heat for this. And we basically want the chocolate to gradually melt, which it will do. And then we are going to be adding fresh cream into this and combining them all together. So as you guys can see, the chocolate is slowly starting to melt. So you need to be very patient. And just stir it around. There you go. That's fresh cream. That's 125 mils in there, so that's half of this carton. This is 250 mils, and we are just going to pour it in there. Don't worry if it's lumpy. And now you want to mix. And if you are a child and trying this recipe for yourself at home, please ask an adult to help you, because stoves are dangerous, ovens are dangerous. I don't want you guys to burn. So as you can see, it's coming together very nicely. I'm actually going to switch my stove off at this point. Fully homogeneous. So there we go. That's our mixture. We are then going to chill this mixture of ours in the fridge. Allow it to cool completely, and we're going to whip it up. I'll show you what we do then after that. Alright guys, so there's our cake. It has been 30 minutes in the oven, and we're just going to stick a skewer right in the middle. And if it comes out clean like so, meaning there's nothing wet on it, it means that your cake is ready. So now we are going to remove this cake from the oven and allow it to cool completely before we ice it. Alright guys, so we are ready to make our chocolate ganache. Our mixture that we made on the stove is now completely cool. Very cool. So we are then going to take our hand mixer and start on a low speed. This takes a while, so just be patient. And then guys, as you can see, it is starting to thicken, much thicker than it was when we started off. And basically this is what you want. You don't want to over whip it, because Let me just switch this off. What I was trying to say, here we go. What I was trying to say is that we don't want to over whip this mixture because then it's going to turn into butter and we don't want that. So grab your cake from the fridge. It's now be completely cool, and as you guys can see what I've done here, it had a dome as you guys saw when it came out of the oven. So what I did, I took a knife and I sliced off the top, right, to ensure that I had a flat surface. But even with that, I am going to see what the bottom looks like. If it looks better than the top, then I will invert this cake. So just loosen it. Be gentle. The cake must be completely cooled for this, you guys. Don't take chances. You are gonna be sorry. Oh gosh, you see these crumbs. Put this here and invert it over. There we go. Alright guys, so I've cut the top off and I'm going to take about a quarter of our mixture and try spread it in the middle as evenly as you can, right? Try not to get too much of the crumbs into your remaining mixture because we're going to use that for the top of the cake. So just smear that there. Make sure your hands are clean. We want it to have a sandwich effect. It doesn't have to be really all that thick, just a bit more. Just to cover the sides like this.
So I took the top half and I turned that upside down. So what used to be the middle is now the top of the cake.
So the rest of your mixture, use a spatula for this. It's just gonna make sure everything comes out.
Now this is not a lot of icing, but that's just up to personal preference. For our final flourish, we're going to use our sieve to dust some cocoa powder on our cake. So take 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder and put that into your sieve and just sift it along.
And just like shake it across. Get some on the plate, it looks amazing when you do that. So there's our cake, you guys. We are going to put this in the fridge once more before we slice it to ensure that it's firm enough to handle, and we're going to serve it up. So we are going to put it in there.
Here's our beautiful crimson cake, you guys. Thank you for watching. I will leave a link for you to get a 20% discount if you purchase De Villiers chocolate under my coupon code, which is Dr. T. Thank you for being here, guys. Like, share this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.